Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue sur Africa 24. Dans ce présent numéro de décryptage, nous recevons pour vous M. Ndungu Mureu, vice-président de la Chambre de commerce et d'industrie du Kenya. Rencontré lors du forum économique à Djibouti en décembre 2017, il revient dans cette interview sur les difficultés du secteur privé africain, mais aussi sur les opportunités d'investir dans son pays, le Kenya. Que pensez-vous de ce premier forum économique régional organisé par Djibouti?
We are here attending this important convention to discuss areas pertaining to regional integration. And as we all know, regional integration only means that the region grows together. And so a lot of the conversation that has been going on from yesterday relates to how the countries within this region, within the African continent, can collaborate more so that they can make the regional integration concept good for everyone in the region, particularly with regard to the infrastructure. Because if good roads and rails cut across the entire continent of Africa, then it will be very easy for trade to thrive and to go across the whole continent. So really what is being discussed here is how can we make this happen? And we are also looking at models of where it is working. For example, this morning we've had a relationship between Djibouti and Ethiopia in terms of regional integration and how this is being spearheaded by the two governments. We also gave yesterday a case study of Kenya and the East African region and how we are spearheading that regional integration within the East African community.
Que faut-il pour une intégration réelle en Afrique?
The real integration is first of all to integrate our cultures, to understand the different cultures and try and remove the barriers of trade through culture. And the second one is a physical infrastructure that can enable goods to travel from Cape Town to Cairo or from West Africa to East Africa in the shortest time possible and to be able to serve the entire population of the continent easily. Again, it is also important to realize that with proper integration and networks, we can build commercial quantities of products to be able to export these efficiently through the various ports that we have within the continent of Africa.
L'on parle de plus en plus d'un marché commun en Afrique. Croyez-vous en cela?
I think it is not a far-fetched dream. I mean, the common market protocols that have been signed and the African continental free trade area is something that is being discussed and something that I know is practical. If you look at the intra-Europe trading figures, they run upwards of 62%. Now, if you look at the intra-Africa trade figures in Kenya, in Africa, we are looking at about between 12 and 16%. So we have a long way to go. And yet, that is a solution. That's about the only solution that we have to be able to grow this important trading area where we say, we look at every country's competence and we say this country should now grow this product or develop this product for the entire continent market. And this country should, and then that way you will find that the countries that have, for example, Zambia has a lot of copper. Every country is using copper for its power needs. So if Zambia concentrated on supplying the entire continent with copper and another country concentrated on agriculture, for example, like in the East African region, there is a lot of agricultural land that can be used. Instead of commercial enterprises, we look at how we can grow agriculture. And so we look across the whole continent and share these goods rather than every country try to do everything within itself and for very small quantities that don't have commercial effect in the markets.
Quelles sont les difficultés du secteur privé en Afrique?
I think the biggest problem we have is access to finance, and that has been also stated here. Now, what we are looking at is asking the World Bank and other international financial institutions to actually look at more funding to private sector. Now, as long as the private sector is able to put projects together that are bankable, then the international community should be able to look at that. The other area that I know, because of the growing competition within that financial sector, is the private sector is becoming increasingly more innovative and you find institutions like microfinance institutions are coming up. We are having insurance companies coming up as financial alternatives.
Est-il facile d'investir au Kenya, votre pays?
Yes, now we have, again, as a country, as Kenya, we have moved from 136, position 136 in the world by way of ease of doing business to position number 80, which is 50 places down. And we are hoping that because of the good collaboration between the private sector and the public sector, that we can bring this number to below 50 around the world. And for me, that goes along to say that the countries, the public sector and private sector are working together to make doing business in Africa and in Kenya in particular easier every day. So we are happy with what is going on. Of course, we also are cognizant of the fact that sometimes politics play too much in our continent, and we are appealing to the political players to play within the political space and allow commercial activities and business to thrive with the rest of the space.
Quel message avez-vous à l'endroit de la jeunesse africaine?
I think the young men, the youth in this continent are still sleeping. My advice is they wake up, they come and play in their space because the space is available, and really a lot of them will fold their hands and complain that the government is doing nothing. But the government does nothing. They have to come and play along with the private sector and take their positions. They are the next generation. If they do nothing about it, the future will catch up with them. So they must wake up and take their rightful position.
Et que faites-vous au niveau du Kenya pour accompagner cette jeunesse qui a tant besoin d'entreprendre?
Our Chamber of Commerce actually, in our board, the national board, we have actually a youth committee and a women and gender committee that really looks after the youth affairs. Our national government has also set aside funds that are targeting the youth, and even in the tendering systems of the nation, there is a specific category of tenders that are set aside specifically for the youth or for the women or the persons with disability, which is a very proactive position. However, it is up to the youth and the persons with disability and the women to go out and take those tenders. Otherwise, if they are not taken, then the natural kind of effect takes place where the best tenderer then goes for that. So I think what I've said is the youth must come out and take their rightful place in the national development of the country and the continent. The youth must arise, they must stand up to be counted, they must remember that the future belongs to them, and they are the real stakeholders in our continent.